Welcome back to another episode of the Spiritual Sisters podcast. This is Gabrielle Celeste. Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited today, friends, spiritual Barbies, spiritual Kens, because I have one of my favorites on, and we're going to get all into all the things, but today we're welcoming Lucila Sanchez of New York City, and I'm so excited because her and I have recently worked together for an extended period of time, not just recently, but also earlier this year, and then last year, and we got connected through mutual colleagues, and I'm super excited because I was like, Lucila, you have to come on because you're hilarious and you keep it real and you just have that New York in you. So welcome to the show, Lucila. So happy to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we like to do these rapid fire questions at the beginning of the show as we get into it. So would you be so kind as to share with us what your big three in astrology are?
Okay, so I'm a Scorpio sun. I just had a birthday. Mm-hmm. I'm a Leo rising, and I'm a Cancer moon.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. So we are actually recording in the last few hours of Scorpio season, which I thought was such a beautiful ending to all of this. But it's interesting because at first initial interaction expression, you don't come off as a Scorpio. Do you identify with your other two placements more, or?
You know what? I feel like I vacillate a lot between all three of them because I am someone who like hates small talk. So immediately someone's like, oh, the weather's crazy. I'm like, cool. What's your deepest wound that you want to work on?
Oh my goodness.
But then I have like the Leo rising where like I love attention and like commanding like a crowd. And then I have my Cancer moon where I'm like in my shell and like I don't want anyone to see me and I'm like just crying. I literally cried last night.
Oh my gosh. She had to just have one of those last little moments as we close out the season. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Literally. And it was like watching a show too that I've seen a million times, but I don't know. I had to cry.
What show is it?
The Vampire Diaries. I'm like rewatching it for the millionth time.
Okay. Are you Team Damon, Team Alema, or Team Stefan?
I'm Team Stefan. I know that they don't end up together, but I love him so much. I just love like a really sweet, good guy. You know, I'm not really into like the bad boys, to be honest.
Oh my God. Damon's so Scorpio coded. I feel like Stefan's kind of a bitch sometimes.
Exactly. That's why I can't be with Stefan. I'm the Scorpio. We can't both be in this little thing. Like I need someone who's like sweet and sensitive and yeah.
Okay, well, that's actually one of the questions. That's number 3, but what are you consuming right now in terms of audio, like books, TV shows, podcasts, all the things?
So obviously I'm rewatching Vampire Diaries. Books, I'm actually reading Christine Gutierrez's book, I Am Worthy, which is great because it talks about how basically we're under a spell of unworthiness. And she wants us to break free. I love it because she brings in patriarchy and colonialism and capitalism and how basically it works in that way to make us feel unworthy, to oppress us, to use us, you know. So I love that book. I do listen to podcasts. I listen to Nikki's podcast because, you know, it's like a reading every week. I'm also listening to Natalia Benson, the podcast. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah, she's an astrologist.
Yeah, so this happens to me all the time. Like when I first found your podcast, I listened to all the episodes in like 2 weeks. So that's where I'm at with Natalia, like just listening to every single episode. I like watched her interview on I don't even know the name of the podcast, but I'm like really into her story.
Yeah, she's been on a journey from.
Yes, I love when people talk about like, you know, her dad died and she got divorced, this vulnerable, but like I'm a Scorpio, so I love hearing people talk about stuff like that.
She's a Scorpio too.
Is she?
Yeah, I think she's a Scorpio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because she came up on my feed the other day, but she's an OG in the space. And she also she kind of walked away from like her business or restructured it from my understanding. And this was in relation and around the time that her dad died. I think she got a divorce shortly thereafter. And I'm just like, damn. Man, I have an idea of how old she is, but for our listeners out there,
she's 38. She's my age. I know because that's why I originally started listening to her, because her podcast was titled like I don't know what I learned turning 38. And I was like, oh, cute. Me too. And it was this like deep guttural episode. But I was like, damn, I love that. I love that that's the lessons that she wanted people to learn
Mm-hmm.
about. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
how I know she's 38.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. Also, I think
Yeah.
that's really interesting because she also, so what I was going to share is there's something that happens. It's like a really interesting phenomenon, much like what happens at 27 to 30, so the Saturn return. And
Mm-hmm.
36 is one of those ages, which we're going to go over in my transit course, which shameless plug, friends. Gonna launch in the spring of 2026, so check it out. But the the phenomena that happens around 35, 36 is you have that karmic payoff for
Mm-hmm.
whatever you went through and experienced around your Saturn return. So if like you started a business and you went balls to the walls with it and you stayed committed, you see the payoff around it. And that's the high expression. And it's not necessarily like, bad or good, but if you're not on path or if things are supposed to look a little bit different, that's another one of those ages in which it's the course corrector. So I remember that starting all for her around that age. And in addition to that, just to add to this point, because I want to get back to the
Mm-hmm.
questions, is that what happens is it's interesting with Saturn just he's daddy. So
Mm-hmm.
he's pretty much gonna have like a huge influence in your chart and in your
Mm-hmm.
life. So look to where Saturn's at your chart if you want to get more insight of when you're gonna be experiencing some tough lessons.
Yeah, well, I actually have Saturn in Sagittarius, which we're coming up to Sagittarius season tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I have a
Okay.
stellium in Sagittarius.
Yep. I actually really enjoy. So again, like Lucila studied astrology and she has a really cool chart, but also your stellium and Sag, it just kind of gives me like, I know it's not Leo energy, but it's Leo like performer needing to be seen, like the comedian. And I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
totally where you're headed in this space.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if you want, but well, okay, let's get into that. What's your
Yeah.
human design makeup?
My human design, I'm a 6'2". I'm a
Mm-hmm.
projector. What else?
You're
Human
16.
design is
Are
like
you
not
are you
my forte.
emotional?
I'm non-emotional.
Non-emotional. What's that like?
So I don't know it that well. My understanding is that I basically absorb other people's emotions. Is that it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when we were doing your human design makeup, it's like you're
Mm-hmm.
getting, I feel like it's like you get to a space in which your emotions have like it's either removal and detachment of said emotions in order to make said decision, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's definitely when I was younger. Well, before my psychic gifts came on online, I was just like live wires picking up everybody's energy. Um and I would like someone would show me something and I would start crying. I could feel the video, like someone would share a story and it was wild. But now that I have a lot of energetic hygiene,
Hmm.
it's so cool because it literally is like just kind of floating. Like I can just observe other people's emotions and hold empathy and compassion without feeling it. And now it's kind of like about me because I'm the one crying, but you're the one going through something. That would happen to me a lot in the past.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, we'll put a pin in that because I feel like that's going to
Okay.
tie into the story that you're going to share with respect to like the shadow work journey and like responding,
Hmm.
not reacting to things differently and like where you're at,
Hmm.
like, your process. But okay, so if you had the chance to in your business to work with anyone living or dead, person if that's a figure, public figure, an author, musician, you name it, is there anyone that comes to mind that you feel like you have a connection to?
You know who? She's still alive. I think I saw a podcast of hers, but it was like a year ago. Caroline Miss. She wrote
Yeah.
Anatomy of the Spirit. I love that book. I loved how because I grew up Catholic, so I did all my sacraments. Like I understand that system really well. And then she compared it to the chakras, which at the time of reading I had just learned, and I only knew the basics. So reading this book gave me this like deeper understanding of what the chakras mean, and it yeah, it like enriched my vocabulary like I have with these sacraments in Catholicism because I went through all of them and I studied them. I went to like classes and stuff. So yeah, I love the way that she met all these people, and she's I don't know if this is her job, but she was a medical intuitive at the
Mm-hmm.
time or when she wrote the book. And that's the stories that she shares. Like people who reversed their AIDS, their cancer, because they did the work. And I don't know too much about medical intuition, but I think that's so powerful, right? That like our souls are not like punishing us. God isn't punishing us with these diseases and thing. It's like, I want your attention. And she can
Mm.
tell you what to do. Well, she and, I'm sure there's other medical intuitives that are as talented, can tell you what to do so that it's not like doing the work, the energetic work will heal it. You got to go to the doctor and do the things, but for some people the medicine isn't working, and so it's because you're not doing the energetic thing. And just love the way she wove all the stories going chakra by chakra. She also compares it to like the Jewish system, but I don't know it at all, so I cannot even really tell you what that is, to be honest.
Yeah, she's definitely made so many advancements in this space, and her work is very reputable. And it's cool to see what legacy she's built and is leaving behind, because I think that's very much like in her soul contracts. Would love to see her chart.
I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Well, second to final question, because the second and last question I think is going
Mhm.
to lead us into what we're talking about today. But
Mhm.
if you could go to a concert for any artist living or dead, who would it be and why?
Oh my God, this is so funny. Becky G she's had like a rap album, she had like a pop album, she
Mm-hmm.
sang reggaeton, but her last two albums are like Mexicana Regional, that's the genre.
Mm-hmm.
And I love them. I love them so, so much because she uses Spanglish. So
Mm-hmm.
she's very much, I'm 100% American and I'm 100% Mexican. And I can relate to that because that's how I feel. Like I'm 100% American and I'm 100% Honduran. And I can weave both worlds. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
obsessed with her album. She went on tour, but she didn't come to the East Coast. And I'm like, Becky, girl, please come here so I can go to your concert.
Brianna, pull this as a reel so we could just like,
Tag
post
Becky
that and
G.
tag her. Yeah.
Please
Well,
come to New York, Becky. I love you so much.
she's an LA girl. She was born in California. She's West Coast, so maybe she just decided to keep it, Tupac Biggie style. Just kidding. Just
Well, she
kidding.
went she went down to like Florida, which is still kind of far. I can do the East Coast quickly. I can drive up. Well, I'm not driving, but someone can drive up to Boston with me because I
Hmm.
don't drive. I'm from New York.
Yeah. Also, we just need to say that if you hear sirens in the background, we're not editing that out because that's literally like New York
Or
energy.
an ice cream truck, even though it's 45 degrees, because people still get it, I guess.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess it's the city that never sleeps, right?
Never.
Okay. So I wanted to ask, how do you define your spirituality? And I feel like that's actually a really nice bridge into discussing, where you're at in your journey, how you've arrived here, because just for the context for our listeners out there, Lucy, like
Hmm.
you've been on a journey for, I would say mostly like 2025, but it started long before then. And
Hmm.
you've really, and I've just been witness to your process, which has been really
Hmm.
fun to work with you. And thank you again for trusting me with your energy.
Of course.
Um, where like you've just invested in yourself and you've been brought to this place of like, oh wait, like this was put in my path so that I could support others in doing this for and helping them. So
Hmm.
yeah, how does that all kind of come together for you, and how has that changed this year, and like how do you define your spirituality as a whole?
So, right now, how I would describe my spirituality is that I am a spirit and I'm living a human experience. And
Mhm.
so, I have this soul contract that I made with God. And, I forgot it on purpose. That's kind of the point. But now that I'm awake to it or part of it, right? Because it may change and that may be part of the process, I'm committed to doing God's work. And part of being spiritual for me is connecting with God every day. And when I say God, I really mean like my guides, the angels, my ancestors, the universe, spirit, like I feel like it's the same energy. us as humans, we need the separation, right? Which I need too. Like sometimes I'm like, no, this is ancestor work. I need to talk to them. No, this is for my guides. No, this is for God. And that's our human brain. I feel like, so connecting with God all the time and connecting with myself as a human, which was the part that I was like rejecting almost. Like I was like,
Mm,
no, I'm a spiritual being and I want to do all these spiritual things, that I almost forgot that I'm a human and I came here to be a human. I came here to feel all these human emotions and go through these human experiences, which are, some of them are painful, but some of them are so beautiful. And I kind of didn't care about either, to be honest, once I realized that I could have this connection with the spirit realm. And I
mhm,
think this past year has really brought me like, hello, you came here to be a human, to live a human life. And it's added an even bigger layer, because I think that sometimes I was using spirituality to escape the real world, because I
mm,
am like, I disassociate, or I used to disassociate a lot. And once I stopped doing it with nonsense, now I'm doing it with spirituality. So it's like always bringing me back, right? Like there's no end road to spirituality. There's always going to be something else to work
mhm.
on. And yeah, I like accepted that. Like that's the challenge. That's the road. That's why I agreed to come here for.
Yeah. Do you feel like this year has helped you to understand exactly what that means? And I'm coming at it from the angle that you've invested in yourself a lot. You've studied different areas, different modalities. And you also, I think, initially thought it was going to be one thing, but now it's kind of beautifully morphed into something else. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about that.
So, it's so funny because ever since I was a little girl, I really would always beg God, like, what's my purpose? As a child, I really meant, what job should I do? But I would say the word purpose even as a little girl. And in my 20s, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? I knew that I was meant to be here for something greater. And I would go to psychics and get tarot readings. And they were like, not as a little girl in my
I
20s.
was, I was going to say, when did you start? Tell me.
Although my mom is super into psychics and I went with her all the time, like all the time. I was never
Oh.
scared. I was always fascinated by it.
Hmm.
And they would say your purpose is to heal. And I was like, okay, so what job am I getting with that?
Hmm.
And realistically, now it makes sense, right? If my job is to help other people heal and other people connect to spirit, how can I do that if I haven't done any healing work? And it's a lesson that I learned over and over and over.
Oh.
So even when I found my purpose last year, I was like, great, my life is set. All I have to do is tell people and I'm going to get clients like this and everything's fine. And it was like I had to learn that lesson again. You're still meant to heal. That is still your
Hmm.
purpose.
Hmm.
And that's really what I've been doing this year, is just with a different point of view, right?
Hmm.
With a different type of connection. I'm healing in a different way than how I was healing the past, I don't know, maybe like 7 years or so.
Okay. That's really interesting because I'm kind of on this. So I my business has morphed into, well, at least like one tier of like supporting those through shadow work, just having gone
Hmm.
through that really deep experience myself this past year as well. Do
Hmm.
you feel like you were aware prior to 2025 that healing was actually like the shadow work, going inward, kind of seeing where you were disassociating and disconnecting, was actually like the missing puzzle piece and the secret sauce for you to move forward? Like, were you aware of that beforehand?
No way. What I thought healing meant for me was healing from the death of my loved ones, because I've had a lot of death in my life. And that's what really caused me to disassociate, because I didn't lean into the pain. I really rejected it. And it made me suffer for a lot longer than maybe I should have, or maybe this is how it was meant to be, right? And so that's what I thought healing meant. I thought healing meant like setting boundaries with my family, healing from grief, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And now my gift was that I found my purpose and I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like launching a business is like, you
Mm-hmm.
always say this, launching a business is shadow work. And I didn't realize that until literally I launched my business last year. And I've been in, I feel like, shadow work for over a year because everything comes up, right? You can't hide behind anything, especially when you're the talent, when you're the one providing the services and the administrator and the marketer and all these things. You see all the cracks in the systems, and there's no one to not blame, because it's not about blaming, but it's all on you basically. And I mean that in the best way, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
because whether you go into being an entrepreneur or not, like, you should be doing shadow work, because even though it's difficult and it's painful, it's so freeing. It truly,
Mm-hmm.
truly is so freeing.
Yeah. I definitely think it's interesting because right before we recorded today, I had two back to back readings. And one of the takeaways, because both of them were actually spiritual entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
and it was almost kind of like one of the messages that came forth in the reading was your entrepreneurial journey, you starting a business is the best thing that could have happened to you because it's going to bring forth all of your limitations, all of your shadows, all the things that you didn't even know were there that 9 to 5 corporate America. And that's not to shit on that structure at all because some people are very much meant to be in those structures in this lifetime, but you're provided a different type of opportunity that you would not be able to learn about yourself if you were in a traditional 9 to 5. And I couldn't agree more with that statement right there.
Yeah. And I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. Like, there was a time, I don't know if this happened on the West Coast, but in New York, where everyone was getting into, like, what is it? The marketing schemes.
MLMs, are they MLMs?
MLMs,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And the first thing they would say is, "Don't you want to be your own boss?" And I was like, "No, that sounds terrible. Like, I will get a set salary. I can
Mm-hmm.
blame someone else. I clock out at 5. Like, I take sick time when I want. Why would I want to be my own boss?" And people would get so pissed because that's their, like, first question to get you. And I was like, "No." And I genuinely was not even joking. And God was like, "Okay, heard. So this is a cute little challenge for you then."
Totally. Okay, wait. So, based off of where you were, I just would like for you to reflect on that mindset and then where you are now. What was the shift for you? Because now you're quite literally doing the complete opposite of where you didn't think you were going to be doing or maybe even wanted to do then. And you're going to be helping people in that space and already helping people. So, I would love to talk about that shift and then how you support people now.
Well, the shift was really doing shadow work, because even all of last year and the beginning of this year, I was still fighting it. I was like, I wish that I could join a company where all I have to do is show up and do readings, and they take care of everything. Like, I was fighting it so hard, and
Mm-hmm.
God was like, "No, baby." Like, that's not your journey. And once I started looking at myself and why I wanted that, and because I really didn't think that I could earn it myself, and I was like, "Oh, like, everything you thought wasn't true." Basically, it was kind of like, me protecting myself, because, right, if I fail, it's all on me. Where if I'm in a company, I'm like, the marketing was terrible, the management didn't work, and now it's like, no, girl, it's you have to keep trying and keep doing all these things. And I didn't think that I could, to be honest.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so it's super empowering to be where you're at and like to have traveled through, so much of the shadow work, but also just acknowledge too, like, I don't know that the shadow work is ever really gone because I think that's part of
Hmm.
being a human. And I feel like
Hmm.
I need to say that for the audience and those listeners. But here's the thing when you go inwards and you sit with yourself, what you're looking for and what you find within yourself is completely priceless. It's priceless. Like you're not going to find that anywhere else and you're not able to.
Yeah, it's so true. And I understand why people resist it, because it is hard and it is really painful in the beginning. But
Hmm.
there's this, like, theory that I learned when I did somatic coaching last year, where basically you have this bell curve and you go up, like you're going up in a roller coaster, and that's like you fighting everything. And most people get stuck at the top of the roller coaster. But the relief in a roller coaster is when you come down.
Hmm.
And so when you get super uncomfortable, the most uncomfortable, right? Don't stay stuck there. Like, come down and complete the cycle, because
Hmm.
completing the cycle and releasing whatever it is you have to let go of is the best feeling, and then it's gone, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I think about all the times that I held on to something because I didn't want to face it. I was in so much pain. I was in so much pain because I was avoiding it. And now
Mm-hmm.
that I've been able to release it, I can just see it as what it was. It was like a lesson, you know. I believe that God creates the solution first. He has the solution for you. He has somewhere he wants you to go. And he's like, well, how are we going to make that happen? I would love for it to be the easy way, but am I going to listen? No. So he's like, well, here's this problem for you to
Mm-hmm.
overcome to get to that solution. And I think I would invite the audience to try to shift that perspective from why is this happening to me to what is this happening to me for? What is it trying
Mm-hmm.
to show me? Where is it trying to take me? And that is very, very hard when you're in the thick of it. And I understand that. But I think that will support you a lot,
Mm-hmm. So,
honestly.
okay, I have two questions that came from your comment, but I want to
Mhm.
ask, like, how do you think this year of investing in yourself in the last year and a half of doing like the deep inner work have prepared you to support people in the future?
I think one, it's just like I've been there. Like I completely get it. I completely understand. I can still tap into that visceral emotion of me fighting something or feeling desperate to connect or feeling like what's my purpose and all those things. Like even though I'm not there emotionally, I can still very much tap into that and I
Mm-hmm.
understand it well.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is that I feel like going through all those things and almost being on the other side, right? It's like, you know, I don't know a lot about sports, but like a coach, right? I'm assuming like they've played the sport, like they
Mm-hmm.
know the play, they know what it's like to be in the team, and now they can guide the players, right, on the other side to take them to a championship or to help them if they're hurt. Um, so I think that's the thing. I'm like on the other side of a lot, not everything, of course, because we never will be, but of a lot of things where I can like pull you into the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also think too that like what I mean, I was downloading as you were speaking, but it's almost kind of like this last period of time for you um, has provided you the opportunity to understand humanity and divinity and those two energies within yourself on a whole new scale. Yeah,
It's so true. And I think that's the dance that we came to have here.
totally. Absolutely. So, okay, I have one more question because
Hmm.
originally we were talking I have a couple more questions, but when we were originally talking about like Lucila, I was like, you have to come on. You're hilarious. Like you have this presence that people just gravitate towards, and it's the light that's within you. And it was going to be more centered around this conversation around like, you know, like God and religion and spirituality, because you did have that upbringing. But I would like to know, how your understanding of God's source power, however, the Lord, however you define it, and anyone listening defines it, has changed through this last season of shadow work.
Honestly, I feel like for a really long time, I thought that God was like my genie. And I was like, here are my wishes. Thank you.
Oh, that is iconic.
Yeah. And then nothing would happen. And be like, are you mad at me? Like, what did I do wrong? Because to be honest, I was raised Catholic, and that's kind of how they show you how to pray. It's like you're asking, like, you know, obviously I still ask for protection for my family and health, but you're like, or at least this is how I was raised. It was like, hey, I want these toys for Christmas. Like I went to church really young. I want these toys for Christmas. I want my mom to let me go play with my friends. And I didn't really, and that didn't shift as an adult because once I stepped away from the church, it was just me using God as this genie. And now really understanding that my prayers have to shift, right? So I pray, God, show me the things that I don't want to see. Gently, please.
By the way, Lucila told me that in a session once. She's like, gently. And I was like, damn, why don't I ask for that? That as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I'm totally taking that too,
Please,
borrowing
God,
that.
you know, I'm a Cancer moon.
She's sensitive.
Yes. Or I will say something like, okay, when I'm trying to decide if I should do something difficult, I'll be like, okay, if this is meant for me, can you make it clear? Can you make it easy? Can you make it cheap? Because sometimes I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this? I don't have the money. And
Mhm.
praying very intentionally that way has really changed the game for me, because it's like, he's like, yeah, because you're
Mhm.
going to do the work for me to give you all these things, right? I was like, oh, can I get this amount of money? And then I was like, okay, obviously that doesn't make sense. So then I'm like, something broader, right? This is my year of abundance. Can you show me how I can be abundant in every single way, with money, with love, with friends? And that was my word for this year, abundance. And yeah, it was a lot of challenges, but I really do feel like this was a year of abundance, right? Like, I have an abundant spiritual community that I didn't have in the beginning of the
Mhm.
year. And I wanted it to, magically show up on my door and be like, hey girl, let's hang out. But no, I had to, one, do the work for myself. I had to invest, right? Sometimes we want everything to be free, and we live in a human capitalistic world that, capitalism has its foot on our neck. So not
Mhm.
everything can be free, but I will say, God, if this is the community I'm meant to be in, help me finance it.
Mhm.
And it shows up, like, I'll get a coupon, I'll get a longer payment plan, like everything works for me because I'm intentional with what I want to do. It's not like just always give me a discount because I want this bag that's expensive that's going to do nothing really for me, you know?
I think that's so cool because something that I feel is a pattern that happens when you actively choose to live a conscious life is you do
Hmm.
acknowledge that abundance is in literally every form. So it's kind of like, oh, like, someone paid for you to have, your lunch paid for, or the person before you purchased your coffee, or like a random opportunity to participate in surveys comes forth. And it's like not necessarily attaching to the form that is the resource, that is the tool of exchange, that is money, but it's seeing it in such literal abundant ways on an everyday basis. Like it really does show up the more conscious you become. But I think that there is some challenge to
Yeah.
seeing that, and you said something about doing the work, and I wanted to ask what that means for you, and do you feel like that happens more in the masculine, in the feminine, or like the combination? Because doing the work, initially when I first heard that, literally at the end of 2018, with my psychic that read me, he's like, you
Hmm.
have to do the work. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck do you mean? Like, what does that mean? And
Yeah.
I feel like you have a really solid understanding of that. So if you could explain a little bit about that and go into the details,
Yeah.
I'd be so grateful.
So I am not like a type A person who's like work, work, work. So for me, it doesn't mean that. Like, I have a lot of friends who really feel like I gotta earn it, I gotta work hard, I gotta put in extra hours. I don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, doing the work is be uncomfortable, right? Do the thing that is difficult for you, that you don't want to do, because a lot of things are difficult because I don't want to do them, but I can do them. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Or let go of this friend that you don't want to let go of because you think it means that you're being rejected. But really, if you let go of this one friend, in this other hand, you're picking up 20 right friends by letting go
Mm-hmm.
of this one wrong friend,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I feel like doing the work is. And it is really hard because we all have our wounds and we all have our traumas, and we get triggered all the time, right? But can you be triggered and keep going? Can
Mm-hmm.
you find a way to create safety within yourself? Maybe you need a friend to help you keep safe, or your mom, or maybe it is prayer. Like, can you do something difficult but set your own parameters? Even like praying to God, like, okay, I see that you're calling me to this very difficult path. Can you
Mm-hmm.
help me? Can you, like, please bring the helpers to me? Show
Mm-hmm.
me the way. Like, the thing with asking that though is you have to be obedient.
Oh, wait. Okay. Tell me about that. What does that
Because
mean?
this is what I feel like happens. So if I'm like, okay, I'm trying to do this different, like, okay, with my business, I was like, I want to launch my business. You know what? Let's go all the way back. I'm like, I want to find my purpose. I want to find my purpose. I had been eyeing Nikki's soul reading method for 2 years.
Before
Didn't
25,
before
2024?
2024, because that's when I did it,
Oh,
2024.
okay.
And I was like, it's too expensive, blah, 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 a million reasons. And literally, I got a reading the like a month or two before I enrolled in Nikki's class. And the woman was like, dude, your spirit council is like, hello, how many signs do you need? Like, you keep asking for this and we're giving it to you in a platter. Like, what are you doing? And once she said that to me, like, it was like my eyes opened.
Mhm.
Literally, a week later, Nikki's like, oh, you can do Klarna payments
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
because I couldn't put the full money down and I don't think maybe she didn't have a payment plan.
Prior to that, yeah.
Yeah, she didn't. And once, literally a week later, it was like, here's the Klarna plan. So it's
Mhm.
like, what if I would have been like, that's still too hard? Here goes another
Yeah.
challenge because you weren't obedient when you were given the assignment. And that is hard to get to that place because you have to have a real dialogue with spirit, which I do. I literally will be like, guys, please help me. Like, I really talk to them throughout the day. And what really fortified that was having my psychic gifts come online because now I know every time they're talking to me, I don't question it. And that's really, really hard when it comes to tapping into your intuition.
Yeah, and I also wonder too if at that point where you're not obedient, you just put yourself in a position of blocking your own blessings.
Yeah, 100%. And
Oof.
then you feel worse,
Yeah. Yeah,
because you're like,
totally.
why isn't this happening to me or
Yeah.
for me? And then you're like, God, are you mad? It just creates this almost like not helpful relationship within yourself and with spirit, which is why I really feel like my purpose is to help people connect to the divinity within and to the divine, because
Mhm.
I think that's the game changer, to be honest.
Totally. Oh my God, yes. The divinity within. There you go. Okay. So I know you're going to do big things, and you recently went on a really empowering, impactful retreat that really allowed you to see the feminine from a different perspective. And you also
Mhm,
have this really cool series that's available on both your TikTok and your Instagram account. And before
mhm,
we get into, where the
mhm,
people can find you in the carpool and all the things, I
mhm,
would love for you to talk about how this series that you've created, which I think is so cool because it's such a perfect taste tester of people like getting to know your energy better and just
mhm,
kind of having an understanding of like, listen, like it's so worthwhile for you to invest in yourself on an emotional level, because that just expands you everywhere else, financially, physically, and mentally, spiritually, psychically, and so forth.
mhm. So the series is called The Remembering. And really, what I want people to know is that you don't have to become anything, right? So even being psychic, we didn't become psychic, we've remembered that we're
Mm-hmm.
psychic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I really want to walk people through this remembering because a lot of it is from colonialism and patriarchy and capitalism that we are so, like, we have to work so hard to earn our money, to eat, to pay this, to pay that, that we forget how divine we are and we forget how to tap into that. And so I really want to activate people in remembering everything that is
Mm-hmm.
divine about them, that
Mm-hmm.
maybe you don't feel that way, right? You're on the train, there's, well, in New York, you're on a train, there's this guy screaming, somebody's screaming showtime, you're like, I freaking left my wallet at home, like, I hate this place.
Okay, wait, we could have like a whole other podcast about like the stories that as an intuitive being living in the city that is New York, but like I'm just like, what is this? Because to me, New York presents as like a portal. Like it's so interesting to me. How do you do it? I
Hmm.
mean, a lot of
Hmm.
grounding, which we've talked about, but
Honestly, I'm also just so used to it. Like,
mm-hmm.
and now that I have a lot of energetic hygiene, it's
Yeah.
easier. Like, I literally fall asleep on the subway. There can be a baby screaming. I don't care. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to put
Wait.
on a podcast and go to sleep.
Wait. This wait. You can sleep on the subway. How long are
I've
these
done it
subway
because I've
trains?
done it. I've been on the subway since I was 14. And
Yeah.
so I literally even know like the little shifts from the subway. So I wake up, I'm like, this is my stop.
Wait. This conversation is going in a different direction, but I like need to like capitalize on this because okay, this is actually
Okay.
so bad for your subconscious mind. But what I do is like before I go to bed on the tickety talk, I'm
Hmm.
scrolling through, right? And then I see these fucked up but fucking hilarious reels of people on the subway in New York. And the crazy shit, it's like people are moving couches. They have like someone's passed out that's like inebriated, and then there's like
Hmm.
rats traveling over them. You have people performing concerts, and I'm like, what is this like?
I do feel like the internet will only show you, you know how like influencers show you the highlight reel of their best moments. The
Yeah.
internet will show you the worst moments of New York
Okay.
or
Yeah.
whatever because I think part of it is mindset. You know, my coworker, she moved to New Jersey and so she started taking the subway instead of driving. And she
Hmm.
was so scared. Every single day for a week, something crazy happened every single day. And I was like, girl, but I've been taking the train forever and I've never even seen this. I'm like, you need to shift your mindset. One, she's very religious. So I was like, pray every morning, say, God, help me be comfortable, help me not look for this. And that changed the game for her. She was like, I cannot believe that I let like my fear overtake me over my faith. And I'm like, girl, that happens all the time. This is a new uncomfortable thing for you,
Hmm.
so you forget, you're like panicked. And she was
Hmm.
like, she never saw anything again. That was like 2 years ago.
Isn't it kind of interesting too how prayer is so similar to intention setting, incantation, speaking things into existence? It's just
Yes.
kind of a different word of like once religion kind of puts its spin on it.
Yes, yes. And I think that that can you know, make people be like, I don't believe in prayer, which is valid because if you were taught that prayer is this other thing,
Hmm.
then yeah, you don't believe in it. But yeah, then set an intention, then talk to the earth, then talk to your grandmother that passed that you know is looking over you, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so cool. Such a good reminder too. So tell us more about this series and what people can get from it and how people can find you because I feel like it's actually just like the perfect taste tester of all the things that you're offering and how people can work with you and truly feel supported because I really and maybe I'm biased, but no one's going to hold you down like a water sign, okay? We are going to support you and love you and nurture you and really be there for you in your times of need and
Yeah.
transformation.
Yeah, I go through the all the ways, all the up and downs.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram. My handle is Lucy Kisses.
I love it.
That was my handle when I turned like 25, and every iteration of my name is taken. I didn't even know my name was that popular, to be honest. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it. But on TikTok, it's underscore Lucila Sanchez. So TikTok
Love
is
it.
new, you know, so less people have all these handles. And yeah, so the series is called The Remembering. It's 8 parts, and I walk you through different things to remember. I give you really quick tips to try. And I also would love to invite people to have a bigger conversation with me on them. Like, what are your questions? What does it make sense? Because that's valid, right? In a 4 minute video, like I can't
Mhm.
um, share everything, right? And I think things are different for different people too.
Mhm. That's so
Yeah.
true. I love that. That
Yeah.
is so also too, Lucila is so talented when it comes to astrology. And I know that the readings, I don't know if you're doing them right now, or is there
Mhm.
opportunity for people to work with you one to one and where people can find you for
Yes.
that if they're
Yeah,
interested?
so you can go to my website, lucilasanchez.com, and on there I have the link to the soul alignment readings where basically I look at your chakras and I look at any blocks, I do some healings on them. I also look at your path in the records and I look at your purpose and I look at your current purpose, your soul purpose, your path, how to make the leap to your most aligned path. And then
Mhm.
I do have my birth chart readings, which I will give you the link to put in the show notes because it's not on my website yet because I'm still trying to fine tune it. But I read the chart very much not by like one category. So I'm not looking for love and career and money, which is, what everybody wants to
Everyone
know.
wants.
But I'm actually going like house by house by house by house, because what I want people to do when they leave a birth chart reading with me is to be able to understand it for themselves. And I really think that the houses are so key. Like, you could even follow the sun. You can follow no other celestial bodies, but you can follow the sun and be like, oh, okay, so I'm about to enter Sagittarius this season. The sun is about to enter Sagittarius. That's my fifth house. What is fifth house? Creativity, childhood, play, and that's it when you're starting, because astrology is a monster of a system.
Man, you and I both know it, right? Which, I don't think people really anticipate that. Like, I think they underestimate it. Not saying you or I or anyone had that belief specifically, but like when you really get into it, you're just like, oh, fuck, this is a language.
Yes, yeah. And then there's so many types of astrologies that you can read, and
Hmm.
getting into the aspects. And I mean, I'm definitely still a student, and I think you kind of are always a student of astrology, to be honest, because you can look at that chart a million different times and find something new every time, which is so, so cool. And I think that's what's cool about the birth chart reading, because I use it intuitively as well, it really shows me what's going on at the time, but you still leave with an understanding on how to read your own chart, right? If you
Hmm.
hear that there's a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, what house is Scorpio in for you? What are the
Mm-hmm.
themes of that house? And I feel like that's what's missing for people. A lot of people just know their sun sign. More advanced people know their rising and their moon, but they don't really know what that means.
Hmm. Totally. There's this, I think you posted it actually. I'm pretty sure you did because I was
Mhm.
laughing, but there's this there's this reel of, you think initially he's talking shit, but he's not. But Penn Badgley, also a Scorpio, and he's talking about like no one knows anything about the houses, but it's so true. Like that's where so much of the magic is actually at, and like the complexity and understanding how much information and weight and depth said houses hold. Like you could do a whole reading just on that. So I love that you mentioned it.
Yeah, yeah. No, and when I saw that video, I was dying, because I'm like, yes, that is a very Scorpio vibe of him. Because he's like, no, I love astrology, but I'm still gonna debunk it.
Oh man, complexities. I love this. I love this conversation. Thank you so much for your time today. You're welcome anytime. Would you be so kind as to provide the audience with a card pool for any messages that they
Yes.
may hear? And of course, trust the timing that whenever you listen to this, when it drops, weeks, months, years later, that the message is meant for you.
Yes. So thank you so much for having me. This
Yeah.
has been very, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling from Adriana Ayales, the Herbal Astrology Oracle. She owns Anima Mundi, which is like
Mm-hmm.
an herbs company. I love this deck because I also trying to get into herbalism. I'm like, I love divination so much. I want to learn like all the things, honestly.
I feel like spiritual influencer is like your vibe. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. Yeah.
Here are all these tools. Choose
Yeah,
one. I'll help
exactly.
you figure it out.
Same, same.
Okay. It's such a sturdy deck, too.
Mm,
Okay. Ooh. So I got Rue.
it's so Leo coded.
It really is. It's beautiful. I don't actually think I've ever pulled this card.
No. What does
And
the
then
deck
it
say?
says protection. So it
Mm.
has the sun at the
Mm-hmm.
top. For sure. It has like angels. This is stunning.
Mm-hmm. If
Okay.
you're
So
looking
let's
on
see.
YouTube, friends, check it out. It's pretty.
Yes, it's beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful deck, honestly. So the deck is really cool because it gives you a little bit of history around the plant.
Mm-hmm.
It tells you what it means if it's upright or reversed. And the astrological ruler of Ru is the Sun and Pluto. So
Mm.
let's see. The guidance is Ru is said to be the herb of angels, granting us the ability to channel the angelic realms. It emanates golden energy like a lion, powerfully protecting and pouring in light into any space that inhabits. Resilient, like the wide array of solar herbs, it grows generously and abundantly, thriving in all kinds of terrains.
Mhm.
Call upon Ru's power to shield your body with angelic forces and restore radiance, vitality, and love in your atmosphere.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to add that. So this episode's dropping. So time of recording, it's end of November, but we're slating this one for January. And 2026 is actually such a sun ruled year because it's a one in Pythagorean numerology. So the sun is actually going to be so in focus. So I'm like, oh, that was so divinely pulled. And you talked about the sun and the houses in a chart. So you're welcome, audience. We love you guys. So anyways, thank you so much. Do you want to say bye with us?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, bye, everyone.
Okay, we'll count it down and we'll do that at like kind of annoying, non-judgmental bye at the
Okay.
end. So
Okay.
3, 2, and 1. Bye.
Bye.